If anyone should be testifying, it should be Adam Schiff. So I've long said Adam Schiff shouldn't even be running the show over there because he's a witness. And certainly he's compromised. He's ethically compromised. Now I know it sounds frustrating, right? Because it sounds, it sounds like I'm saying, well, everyone's going to get away with everything. Because there's going to be no witnesses. I mean, Trump will be acquitted, but as I point out, at great damage. So what is to be done? Well, there are a few things the administration can do, that Congress can do, but I'm going to start with what Judicial Watch is doing. Because I know it's frustrating, but there's one way to get this government accountable, which is to use the tools given to us under the Constitution and under law to hold the government accountable. And so the Senate may not want to talk about this. They may not want witnesses for reasons good and bad. The House obviously is in cover-up mode. So what to do? Well, Judicial Watch files, in the least, Freedom of Information Act requests and lawsuits to try to get the full truth about what's going on here. And you may think, well, what good is that? Well, Judicial Watch's lawsuits on Benghazi and the Clinton conflicts of interest uncovered the Clinton email scandal, uncovered the Clinton pay-to-play scandal, uncovered the Benghazi scandal. And the consequences of that in terms of history is Hillary Clinton's not the President of the United States. Now, we did not do that to cause that result because we don't involve ourselves in elections like that. We don't support or endorse candidates. We're just doing our job. She's a notorious public figure. We were investigating issues of major public importance. And the consequences were the American people held her to account. We've uncovered key aspects of Spygate, as I've discussed previously here. You wouldn't need to read the IG report on Spygate if you were following Judicial Watch because we pretty much exposed much of it. And what are we doing on these specific issues? We've sued for the emails of the alleged whistleblower. So we're going to find out. We hope, but we're pushing the issue in court to find out what he was up to. We're suing Adam Schiff over that phone record scam he was running where he issued a subpoena that was, in my view, lawless and then certainly abusively published the phone records of innocent Americans. Giuliani, Devin Nunes, John Solomon, a reporter. Joe Biden, we've got 3 lawsuits on Joe Biden. They don't want to bring Joe Biden in, right? Well, Judicial Watch wants to figure out what went on with that corruption scandal. So we've sued on his Burisma dealings, and we've sued on his China dealings. And we have many other FOIAs pending that we'll be filing additional lawsuits on. We're supposed to all fall down when we hear about the deep state Obama-appointed ambassador Yovanovitch, the Ukrainian, our ambassador to Ukraine that President Trump recalled. Well, we had information that she had told Ukrainian embassy staff to monitor the social media accounts of American citizens in violation of law. Who were those American citizens? The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Blue Dobbs, our friend Dan Bongino. Oh, by the way, you got to watch my interview with Dan Bongino this week. It's great. Other journalists like Sarah Carter, again, John Solomon, was in violation of the, and they say, well, this is the argument. Well, she can do that because they were only monitoring social media accounts, and those are public. No, the government is not allowed to create files and monitor you, even in public, using even public information. There's got to be a lawful reason for doing so. So we first exposed that. We asked under law for the records there. Of course, we were denied by the State Department, per usual. Getting tired of that, I tell you. So he sued. So for all the noise about what these people did and didn't do, only Judicial Watch is trying to get to the heart of the real scandal here. And this is in addition to all of our lawsuits about the corruption, the Spygate scandal, the worst scandal in American history. If you want to know how backwards Washington is, we've had confirmation 6 ways to Sunday that the President of the United States was illegally spied upon. We had the FBI director under Obama fired by Trump. We had the number 2 FBI director, acting FBI director, and then he was number 2. That was his title, fired by Trump. All referred for criminal prosecutions. Evidence that they were spying on, confirmation by the IG that they were spying on Trump illegally. They were targeting Carter Page on paper, but the real target was Donald Trump, the president. He gets spied upon. They had this smear operation targeting him with the defamation that he was a traitor. And who was one of the chief proponents of that conspiracy, that grand defamation? I call it the Great Defamation. Adam Schiff. He pushed a dossier. He opposed Devin Nunes's efforts to uncover who was behind the dossier. Opposed it. Told agencies to don't cooperate with Devin Nunes's efforts to uncover what really went on there. He's a cover-up artist. Is that obstruction of Congress? Of course. The Justice Department needs to get on the ball in terms of prosecuting people, I know. I'm telling you what Judicial Watch is doing. What is the Justice Department going to do? Are they going to issue reports, or are they going to do prosecutions? Let's hope they do prosecutions. Certainly, the more FOIA information we get out, I think that is necessary. It may not be sufficient to get prosecutions done, but it makes it more likely because the public will be more educated and there may be more public pressure for more accountability as a result of our FOIA requests being answered. I mean, the only reason the FBI did an investigation of Hillary Clinton was because Judicial Watch was taking the lead. They had no choice. And if I were the president, I would directly appoint a special counsel to investigate all of this. I don't trust the Justice Department and the FBI any further I could throw them. It doesn't mean I don't like the Attorney General. It just, I recognize the institutional corruption at the Justice Department that will not change even if you have men and women of goodwill at leadership positions. And in the case of the FBI, Director Wray, the most charitable interpretation is that he is oblivious to the corruption. The less charitable interpretation is he doesn't care about it. He's focused on protecting the FBI, and he is focused on protecting the crooks who have been running it before he was there. As I've told you repeatedly, they've been opposing us on a lot of key issues on these transparency issues. So the president should appoint, he can appoint a special counsel separate and apart from the Justice Department? Yes, he can, because he's president. The left doesn't want the president to be able to be president. He's not allowed to fire ambassadors. He's not allowed to fire FBI directors. He's not allowed to talk to foreign leaders. He's not allowed to hold up aid for a minute and a half as he reassures himself that taxpayer dollars aren't being sent to a black hole of corruption. But of course he's allowed to enforce the law, appoint a special counsel. And he should order release of all the documents we've been fighting about. He can click his heels 3 times, as I say, proverbially speaking, and release it all. State Department's covering up for Joe Biden. The CIA's covering up for the Schiff leaker. Justice Department's covering up for everybody. So he's got to take some steps, I would think, directly. What's Congress got to do? Well, Congress needs to show some leadership in policing their own. Adam Schiff has 2 ethics complaints pending against him. One for allegedly improperly disclosing or confirming classified information in violation of the rules of the House. And the other is over his improper coordination with anti-Trump witnesses, both of which were filed by Judicial Watch and both of which have been buried by the ethics process in the House of Representatives. Well, if I were in the House and I were concerned about corruption by Adam Schiff, I would highlight those issues. Republicans have yet to do that. Call the House. Call your House members. Raise concerns about this corruption. And you have other protected parties like Ilhan Omar. There's been reports there's a criminal investigation of her. I don't know if that report is accurate or not, but there ought to be. You got this in-your-face evidence of marriage fraud, tax fraud, student loan fraud, immigration fraud. We can't even be sure it's her last name is what she says it is. Anyone else would have been investigated months ago on it. So I hope there's a criminal investigation, but there at least ought to be an ethics investigation by the House. This is what Schiff is doing. This is what Pelosi is doing. Did you know the State Department recently issued a report that there were 600 national security violations found connected to the Clinton email server, including many that were purposeful? Where's the criminal investigation of that? Did you know that the FBI found that 14 FBI agents, senior level people, improperly disclosed, classified, sensitive material? Not one prosecution yet of that. There's a lot to be done. So we're going to see further abuse of the president in this impeachment sham. And the question is there going to be accountability for that corruption? We know through our litigation, our FOIA requests, that the State Department, for instance, was coordinating with Democrats in the House and the Senate to try to destroy Donald Trump, even before he was inaugurated. He gets elected, there's a period of time before he's inaugurated, and what the State Department was doing was shoveling garbage out, classified information, which if they were shoveling out for political purposes, would be illegal. You know what's interesting about the impeachment? I told you how President Adam Schiff, I think he probably sees himself as president, certainly has been running the House, and now he wants to take over the Senate. We've got the sort of evidence that suggests actual corruption. Adam Schiff has evidence related to Donald Trump that has perfectly innocent explanations and suggests no corruption, and actually provides information that there was no corruption. It suggests innocence. So every time you hear Adam Schiff make up motivations, we've got evidence that confirm what was going on. They were trying to get Trump. What's the equivalent of the insurance policy text message between Strzok and Page that Schiff has? Nothing like that. And what a waste of money. We got 100 senators being held hostage, as I say, by Adam Schiff right now. They should be doing other things as senators. The House is frozen. They're not doing anything. We may disagree as to what Congress should be doing right now, legislatively or policy-wise or investigative-wise or oversight-wise, but we would all agree they need to be doing something other than harassing impeachment of the President of the United States that undermines the rule of law, undermines our national security, undermines our foreign policy, undermines our Constitution and sets a precedent that will continue to undermine the Republic for generations to come. And the Senate needs to be that line. And I hope they recognize this role, at least a majority of them do, and cut this short as soon as they're able. And I encourage you once again to make call and call again.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.